President Obama gave the fourth State of the Union address of his presidency last night, speaking for almost exactly 1 hour. The president proposed a number of priorities he hopes Congress will address this year, including coming to an agreement to avoid the sequester, a series of $1.2 trillion budget cuts set to automatically kick in on March 1st. The president also spoke about the need to create jobs, deal with the growing problem of climate change, and raise the minimum wage. One issue which received widespread support from both Democrats and Republicans was the need for comprehensive immigration reform. The president concluded his remarks by asking for new gun control measures to make their way to the floor of the House, saying that the victims of gun violence, including former Arizona Congresswoman Gabby Giffords, deserved a vote. There was also a significant portion of the speech dedicated to foreign policy. President Obama noted that al-Qaeda, the organization responsible for the 9/11 attacks, is now but a shell of its former self. The president also addressed new threats, warning North Korea and Iran that the only way they can ensure the security and prosperity of their people is by living up to their international obligations, namely ceasing their growing efforts to build a nuclear arsenal. Here's a word cloud from the speech. Like in years past, the word jobs is the one that jumps out at you. Other words used repeatedly range from boilerplate like America, American, and Americans to Congress and the word must, perhaps indicating a sense of urgency on the part of the president as his second term now begins in earnest. The president's speech was not the only speech given last night. Florida Senator and likely 2016 Republican candidate for president Marco Rubio gave the Republican response. You can see the word cloud here. The word that pops out at you is government, and indeed Rubio spent a large portion of his speech calling for the need to shrink, not grow the government, in order to ensure future prosperity. Rubio also spent considerable time levying specific criticisms at the president, as reflected in the size of the word president in this word cloud. Rubio's speech, however, may be best remembered for an awkward attempt to grab a bottle of water that was off camera and apparently only about a foot off the ground. And for the third year in a row, the Tea Party, the more fiscally conservative wing of the Republican Party, provided its own response to the State of the Union. This year's response was delivered by Kentucky Senator Rand Paul, son of Ron Paul and himself a likely Republican candidate in 2016. Notice from the word cloud that Paul's speech focused more on the need to cut the budget and rein in spending. And in case you were wondering, this year's designated survivor, the somewhat ghastly term for the cabinet member chosen to sit out the speech in case of disaster, was Secretary of Energy Stephen Chu, who earlier this month announced his plans to resign his post at the end of February.